Now, with the Mets, much different situation, and it's a much different situation because they're bringing in a new president of baseball operations, David Stearns. And I wrote this last week in my manager's overview that Stearns essentially had one of two choices here with Buck Showalter. He could have kept Showalter for another year, decided he wanted to assess the organization, kind of look things over, and worry about the manager later. Next year, the Mets have basically signaled is going to be something of a transition year for them. Showalter certainly could have handled the team competently under those conditions and played out the rest of his contract. The other option was the one that Stearns chose, door number two, and that was simply to cut the cord, realizing that Buck Showalter was not going to be his long-term manager anyway, and moving on before this could ever really get to the point of being an issue. Now, this was handled sort of indelicately. Buck announced his own departure yesterday in a news conference at Citi Field. David Stearns wasn't there. He's getting introduced today on Monday. Billy Epler had to give Buck Showalter the news. Billy Epler remains as the general manager. Steve Cohen was the one who addressed the media, the owner. Little weird, but these things rarely go smoothly in any walk of life. When people get fired, it's just always uncomfortable and often awkward. So, from that perspective, okay, I didn't love it, but I get it. Now, no one in their right mind would say that Buck Showalter is to blame for what happened to the Mets this year, but I will say this, and John Harper of SNY in a column put it pretty well. This team, this Mets team, when they had everyone together, didn't play like a classic Buck Showalter team. It wasn't as crisp. I don't know why that happened. I don't even know if Showalter knows why that happened. But if you want to look at some things and point to the manager, as some fans and media did throughout the season, you could certainly do that. So Gabe Kapler gone, Buck Showalter gone, Craig Counsell. I've been writing this for a couple of months. He is the biggest free agent among the managers. And I know Brewers fans don't want to hear that their guy might leave. Well, your guy's not signed. He's a great manager. He's done amazing things with that franchise. And he is a native of Milwaukee, someone with a long history with the team, whose family has a history with the team. His dad worked for the Brewers. Well, the Brewers have to pay him. And if they don't want to pay him, they're not going to pay him like one of the best managers in the game, then I fear, for their sake, that they're going to lose him. Because Craig Counsell, if you remember, is a pretty strong member of the Players Union. He knows how salaries work. And he wants his due, as most people would in any career. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Stearns brings in Counsell, if Counsell is willing to go to New York, or if Brewers owner Mark Attanasio steps up and says, you know what, Craig, you deserve this. I want to make you one of the highest paid managers in the game. I want to give the team a greater commitment in terms of payroll going forward. And in which case, if those things happen, Craig Counsell might very well stay.